Sherwin-Williams is hitting a rough patch, and it's having a real impact on their employees' future savings. The company recently announced it will temporarily stop matching employee contributions to their 401k retirement plans, a move directly linked to ongoing sluggish sales and challenging economic conditions. But here's where it gets controversial. This decision digs into the tough balancing act between financial prudence and employee benefits. The news comes from Cleveland, Ohio, where Sherwin-Williams is headquartered. CEO Heidi G. Petz explained in an internal memo, seen by Cleveland.com, that the company is navigating an unusually difficult landscape. Several factors are combining to dampen demand. Soaring mortgage rates have caused the housing market to almost grind to a halt, which lowers the need for paint and home renovation supplies. At the same time, adding fuel to the fire, tariffs linked to international trade have both raised costs for Sherwin-Williams paint and coatings and reduced demand across various industrial sectors. Petz's message acknowledges bluntly, Sherwin-Williams is not immune from these conditions, which have lasted longer and been more impactful than anticipated. Unfortunately, customer demand is still weak, and in some regions, the situation is worsening. Effective October 1st, the company will halt its standard practice of matching 100% of employee contributions, up to 6% of their salary, in their 401k plans. This isn't Sherwin-Williams' first rodeo with such temporary suspensions. Similar freezes were implemented during the 2009 financial crisis and the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic. In those cases, the company eventually restored full matching once the economy stabilized. However, Petz carefully avoided promising any specific timeline for reinstating the benefit this time. Beyond freezing the 401k match, Sherwin-Williams has already enacted what the CEO described as disciplined, responsible, and aggressive cost-cutting strategies. These include slashing spending with outside vendors, streamlining operational processes, postponing new hires, and reorganizing global assets to be more efficient. Earlier this year, the company also offered voluntary buyouts to employees in certain roles to reduce headcount and simplify its management structure. At that time, Vice President of Communications Julie Young emphasized that those who opted to leave by the end of June received extra financial support to help them transition into new careers or retirement. These changes come amid broader signs of a cooling U.S. labor market. Nationally, job openings dropped to 7.2 million in July, down sharply from a record 12.1 million in 2022. Hiring activity has slowed markedly, with job growth in 2025 less than half of what it was last year. Healthcare, social assistance, and retail sectors led the declines in available jobs. Meanwhile, layoffs have edged up slightly, yet the number of workers quitting, a classic measure of worker confidence, has remained steady at about 3.2 million. On a local level, Sherwin-Williams has also faced some setbacks. Their much-anticipated 36-story Cleveland headquarters project, originally slated to open in 2023, was delayed due to problems with fire-retardant coatings. Ironically, one of their own product lines applied to the steel framework. The new target for opening is this fall. In a move that surprised many, the company announced that starting January 1st, all employees in the U.S. and Canada must return to working on-site 5 days a week. This policy reverses the remote and hybrid work models that were widely adopted during and after the pandemic, raising questions about workplace flexibility and employee satisfaction. Despite these financial and operational challenges, Petz reaffirmed Sherwin-Williams' commitment to long-term growth. The company plans to continue investing in expanding its network of stores and field sales team, signaling optimism about the future, even as the current climate remains difficult. Stock performance tells part of the story, too. As markets closed on the Thursday before this announcement, Sherwin-Williams shares traded around $365, a modest drop from the late August peak near $373. However, this price is still a healthy 18% increase from lows seen in spring, when shares fell to about $309. That said, the stock remains below its peak of roughly $400 reached last November. President Donald Trump's tariffs have been a flashpoint in this saga. Industry groups like the American Coatings Association warned months ago that these tariffs and retaliatory measures from countries such as Mexico, Canada, and China would disrupt supply chains and increase costs for U.S. paint manufacturers. Many vital raw materials are sourced from China, and there are limited alternatives domestically, making the tariffs particularly burdensome. Looking ahead, Sherwin-Williams does not expect these economic challenges to ease up before mid-2026 at the earliest. In her letter, Petz expressed confidence that temporarily suspending the 401k match is a necessary step to sustain the company's ability to invest in its workforce and business future. This situation raises provocative questions. Should companies facing short-term economic pain compromise employee benefits? Or are such austerity measures essential for long-term survival? How much should workers bear the cost of broader economic and political forces like tariffs and inflation? And what message does returning to full in-person work send in today's evolving workplace landscape? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with Sherwin-Williams' approach? Or do you think there are better ways to navigate these storms without cutting back on retirement contributions? Drop a comment below and join the conversation.